Hi, Sarah. My name is Leora. I'm a childhood specialist. I don't know if you remember me. My job in the hospital is to explain to kids what the adults are saying in a way that you can understand. So when your brother came to the hospital a few months ago, when he was born, I gave you a bunch of things the doctors were using, like Band-Aids, a special straw. I even let you listen to my heart with a stethoscope. And all these things were for you to play with so that you can better understand all the things that were helping your brother. I made sure that you had crayons and paper to color with every time you came to visit so that you could draw pictures for your brother. I also gave you and your brother the special beads called beads of courage that I see that you're wearing right now, that you got yours for being such a good big sister and he got his for being really brave. I've been here with your family while your brother was in the hospital. I met you when you were 6, but I heard you just turned 7. I know that your brother was here in the hospital since he was born, and your mom said that you were really excited to be able to bring him home because you helped set up his really cool room. But he's not going to be able to come home with you because he died. I'm here to talk to you about what it means to be dead so you can understand that your brother is okay but in a different place. Your mom told me that you used to have a hamster named Cookie, which I think is a fantastic name for a hamster. When Cookie died, Mommy said that he went to hamster heaven and you buried his body in the backyard. Well, just like there's hamster heaven, there's also people heaven. And when a person dies, we bury their body in a place called a cemetery and they go to people heaven. People die because the doctors cannot help them anymore. Your brother's medicine didn't work for him. It's different than when you get sick, though. Your brother was a special kind of sick, and even though he had special doctors and special medicine, unfortunately, they couldn't help him anymore. This doesn't mean, though, that when you get sick, you will die. But everything does die. That won't happen until one day when you get really, really old, though. Like when at the end of summer, the leaves turn brown and they fall, and we can put them into crazy big leaf piles or we can crunch them up under our shoes. The leaves are dying, which is why they change color and fall down from the trees. The same way when you get older, your hair might change color like your grandma's. Everything ages in its own way. I also heard that you asked if your brother was being punished for doing something bad, and that's why he died. I want you to know that death is not a punishment, and it's not going to happen to you if you don't behave. But it's also important to remember that we have to listen to what our mommies and daddies tell us and always make sure that we're being safe and following the rules. I heard that you wanted to go visit your brother, and even though we can't go visit him in heaven, the same way that you can visit your hamster in the backyard if you want, you can go visit your brother where he is buried. The place we bury people, again, is called a cemetery. It's a funny word, but I heard that just like you have your name written on your door in really cool letters, your brother is going to get a special stone right next to where he's buried that's going to have his name on it too. Then anytime you want to go visit him, you'll be able to find where he is right there because of his name, and anyone can go visit him and know that he was a really special boy. I know that you really loved being a big sister and you were excited to be a big sister. So I brought you some materials so that you can make a memory box and remember all of the fun times that you were able to be a big sister to your little brother. You can paint the box any color you want and decorate the outside. I brought you some arts and crafts to draw pictures of you and your brother too. You can also add anything to the box by just putting it inside, anything that reminds you of your brother. This way, anytime that you want to remember your brother, you can just open the box and look at the pictures of him and things that you collected to help you remember. Remember the beads I gave you? Anytime that you're missing your brother or want to give him a hug or hold his hand, you can just give those beads a nice squeeze. And the same way that the beads made your brother brave, every time you give them a squeeze, you will get a little braver too, just like your brother. I also liked, I heard that you liked to tell stories to your brother every time you came to visit him. I even heard a crazy one about you on a playground. Well, in heaven, your brother can listen to you anytime you want to talk to him. Since he can't talk, since he's not here, he won't be able to tell you how much he loves you. That doesn't mean, though, that he doesn't want to hear about the really cool art project that you did in school that's hanging up on the wall. I also heard that you saw the movie Coco when it came out in the movie theaters. Do you remember how each family was able to celebrate their loved one who died? Well, we can do that too. We can celebrate them on their birthday every year, or we can put a picture up to remember around the time that they died. When someone close to you dies, like your brother, grown-ups like to make sure that you're okay and not too scared. So your parents and their friends and grandma will probably ask you a lot of times to see if you're okay. It's important to remember that you are allowed to be sad, and it's okay to cry too sometimes. You might even see adults crying because they're sad too, and that's okay. You don't have to be scared. But I brought you a special notebook that you can decorate with your name, and the notebook is a place where you can color pictures about how you're feeling if you don't know how to say it with your words. You can choose to share the drawings, to open them and show mom, dad, or grandma, or you can choose to keep it to yourself as a secret, like a diary. You can also use the notebook to write your brother letters, and even though we can't mail them, sometimes writing to someone who died makes us feel a connection and comforts us. It's also important to remember that there are so many people who still love you, like your mom, dad, grandma, all of your friends at school, and anyone else you know. And anytime you want to talk to someone about how you're feeling, all you have to do is ask. Do you have any questions for me?